Hey, I'm Mr. Hatchner and I'm one of the band teachers in the Osseo district. In this video, we're looking at Mike Tomaro's arrangement of What Is Hip by Tower of Power. So I know that there's a lot of ink on this page, but really if we're using a metronome when we're counting out loud, we're going to be in good shape. I've got my metronome set nice and slow to 50, and I'm going to turn on the 16th note subdivisions. And almost every note you play in this song is going to line up on one of these subdivisions. Let's practice counting this first, just the 16th notes. Ready? And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? As simple as that, and we're just going to line up our notes on that grid. So let's start with the intro. There's only a few sections to learn in this whole song, even though it's 3 pages long. So we'll start right from the beginning. Now I'm just going to use my hands. I'm going to use my metronome. I've got my foot on the kick, left hand here on the snare, right hand on the hat. We start on beat 4 for a pickup. So it's going to go like this. There's just the pickup. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a. Okay, that's the pickup. And then into measure 1, we start on a rest, which looks really scary, but really it's pretty easy. They just give us a rest there on beat 1 because when you play 4 E and a, then you need a quick second to get into the groove. So let's start right on measure 1 now. Counting out loud. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? Those two measures repeat again and again and again with a little spot for a drum fill, and that brings you to measure 9. So let's listen to that a little bit faster and all together from the pickup to measure 9. Okay, next up we have the measure 9. This would be the verse of the song, and there's a groove that repeats with a little rhythmic hit. So let's take it at measure 9. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a. That's just going to repeat, okay? So the tricky thing here is going 1 E and a 2, okay? 1 E and a 2. That part can be tricky. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? And then at measure 12, we're going to play 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. And that part can be a little tricky, but when you listen to the band play, they play 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. So that's how that's going to line up there. That's going to repeat again, and that brings you to measure 17. But right before 17, in measure 16, that part's really kind of tricky, and I had to go really slow to figure out how to play that part. So at measure 16, you're going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a, just like before, but then we're going to play 3 E and a 4 E, E and a. And that can be kind of strange when you break it down, but if you go slow and count it, then you can kind of figure out how it goes and how it sits, okay? That's going to bring us into measure 17 where we have the chorus, okay? And for this part, it's going to go, let's turn our metronome on. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. That's going to repeat and bring you to 21. And then at 21, it gets pretty simple here at 21 because we bring it up. And then at 23, that's more or less a repeat of, not a repeat, but the do-do-do-do-do, ba-ba. So let's take it at 21, nice and slow. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, let's try that one. I think honestly, sometimes going slow can be trickier than speeding it up a little bit. So here's what that's going to sound like a little bit faster and all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, for this next part at 49, this is kind of like the bridge of the song. I'm actually going to grab my sticks because we do have some open-close hi-hat work here. So at 49, I bumped up the speed a little bit. This is at 60, and we're going to start right at 49, counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and a 1. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. That just repeats. And then at 56, we've got this part on the toms. Get my computer out of the way here. So 56 is kind of a cool measure. It goes like this. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So just nice and slow. Count it out loud. Go really slow. And hit all those toms. Just right on the 16th note counts. Then you'll have that part. That brings you to the intro at 57. This is the same thing as the beginning. So let's take it from 49 a little bit faster all together. Here's what that's going to sound like. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here at the Coda, there's a part for the hi-hat that I think is miswritten, because usually when you do the hi-hat with the foot, you're going to notate it at the very bottom of the staff. So starting at measure 62, what we're actually going to do is we're going to have our left hand on the snare, our right hand on the floor tom, and we're going to play all the hi-hat parts that don't have the circle above it, which mean open. We're just going to play it with our foot, okay? So here's what that's going to sound like. We're going to start right on 62, and we'll do 62 and 63. 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, that brings you to 64. So that part we're going 1 E and a 2 E and then you just repeat that. Okay, 1 E and a 2 E and you're keeping that foot going on those eighth notes there. And then just coming over on the uhs of 2 and 4 to hit it. Hit the hi-hat open. And then you close it down on beat 1 in the next measure. Okay, now that brings us to 64, 65. That's a repetition of 62, 63. And then in 66, this is the boom, 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 that part. So let's go slow, right at 66. 4 E N. So that part, just count it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. And the thing you're feeling is the 1. So your foot's got to stamp down on the 1. Okay, so use your metronome, count that part nice and slow. Here's what it sounds like a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this last section, 69 to 93, is just laying down grooves for soloists to play over. So we're just kind of providing a groove. 69 itself, this measure takes us from the craziness of the coda into the solos part. So let's do this part really slow, counting out loud. 69, we've got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so pretty slow. That brings you to 70. Now the groove at 70 can be a little tricky, but here's the thing. We're gonna learn it exactly right now, but if you're playing the same measure over and over and over again, it's gonna get pretty boring, so you're gonna wanna find ways to change it up as you're playing through 73 and 77 and 81 and so on, okay? So let's go really slow, counting out loud, starting at 70. We've got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and a. Okay? So that's how you're going to play it when you're looping it. And I would recommend learning it as it's written, and then see if you can find different ways to either change it up or do little drum fills at the end of each section. It doesn't have to be crazy, but just to provide some variation. Otherwise, it's going to sound pretty boring. So that's going to bring you through the solo section. Here's what that sounds like a little bit faster. All right, so that's really the tune, because 93 to the end is kind of what you did in the coda with a little fill part in the last two measures. They've got some triplet things written here. You don't have to play it that way, but you can. The cool thing about jazz drum charts is generally there's a lot of room for interpretation, and you can play it how you want to play it. So especially for that last part, you know, maybe learn it as it's written and then see if you can find a way to change it up yourself and have a little bit more fun with it. So I hope this video helps. Feel free to rewind it. Feel free to go slower by selecting the gear in the bottom corner and then going to playback speed and slowing it down. And remember to use your metronome and count out loud and go slow. Personally, I learned a lot of this part without even sitting behind the drums, because I was just looking at the music and counting it and figuring out how the rhythm goes. So you can still practice even without a drum kit, and then once you get on the kit, then you're kind of going to get the physicality of what it's like to play it. So I hope this video helped, and let me know if you have any other questions or need any other tips or guidance. Good luck, have fun.